Good morning, and welcome to the Travis Podcast, episode 21.
Whoop whoop.
How's everybody doing out there? It's been a busy week. A lot of news to cover, so I'm going to let Riss start with her first topic of Lea Michelle from Glee. Did I say it right?
Yes. What?
I said it right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, first of all, I'm not a Glee fan. I'm not like a Lea Michelle fan or anything, but I just been seeing a lot of articles. So I guess like she posted something on her social media about the Black Lives Matter and all the protests and stuff. And it wasn't like what she posted was not offensive or anything. She was just trying to support it. Mm-hmm. But then one of her black co-stars was like, "Oh, are we just going to forget about how you treated me on set at Glee?"
Oh, wow.
And then all these other people started coming out, like all of her co-stars, like black and white, talking about how like awful she is and how mean she was and how she would like say really like hurtful things to people and just not like include them or like make them eat alone. I don't know, just like typical mean girl like shit. Wow. Yeah. So, you know, like they're just kind of like, well, how could you be like an advocate for people when you can't even like be nice to your co-stars on a set of a TV show?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's something that happened to like Ellen too recently, where she was under fire for a little while about like saying she was like mean and stuff. So like she was like previous to her, I think. But I remember Ellen too got kind of under fire for like a little while until other shit happened.
Yeah,
but
like some people are such divas, and it's funny too because I remember like the only unless you're a Glee fan, you probably don't even know who freaking Lea Michelle is.
No, I don't. I have no idea who it is.
And the only reason I really know her is because like a couple of years ago, God, it was probably like 5-6 years ago now. Her co-star from Glee died of a heroin overdose.
I do remember that.
Corey Monteith or something,
there.
and he was like super like, I don't know, just like, I don't want to say doesn't fit the mold because everyone fits the mold.
Could fit the mold.
Drug addict, but he was just like not like a rock star, you know, just like a typical like he played like a preppy white boy on a preppy white boy TV show, you know.
Yeah, makes sense. Perfect fit.
And I think she was dating him at the time, and it was like this big thing, and it like rocked the whole cast of Glee, and like nobody said anything about her then, but now it's like,
yeah,
people are coming out.
It's all situational.
You know?
Timing is everything, as they say, you know.
Yeah, so now she's like been apologizing and stuff, and she's like, I need to be better and all this, but yeah, there was like several people that came out and said things that like she did.
Oh my God.
So
speaking of awful people, Carol Baskin's got the Joe Exotic Zoo. I don't know if you saw that or not. That was fresh news this week.
Yep, it says that she is taking over the zoo, and then Jeff Lowe has like 160 days.
Yeah, he has to get out, basically. They're like evicting him or whatever you want to call it. But
I don't even know how. Like, did you read the article?
I read some of it. I didn't read like too deep into it, but I did see that it was like.
Did you realize or did you read about like how that happened? Like.
No, I didn't. I wasn't sure about how the process went, like with the ruling and stuff. But I did see that like they just ended up ruling with it. It was like 120 days he has to.
But then I saw something else too, and I only saw like one article and never saw it again, so I don't know if it was real or not.
Right.
Because I feel like when it's not real, you only see like one, and then when it is real, you see like multiple news articles posting about it.
Right.
But it said something about like investigators say Carol Baskin's ex-husband's will was forged.
Yeah, well, it could be.
Well, no shit, but
I mean that's kind of what it was. They're basically saying that she like killed him and forged it and got all the money. So I mean that would make the most sense. But she probably just paid off the lawyer, you know.
Yeah.
Speaking of cats, local cats getting injured in South Utica.
Yes. So there was an article the other day that this woman has a like indoor-outdoor cat. So he was outside for, you know, he goes outside and then he walks around and then he comes back.
He comes back, right.
So she said he was gone for like a while, like 8 hours. And she said when he came back, he was like all bloody. And she noticed he'd been shot.
Oh, well.
So initially they said it was with like a real bullet, like a gun.
Like a gun, yeah. Not
like a handgun,
BB.
yeah. But then they were like, no, because like I think if the cat got shot with a real gun, it'd be like dead. There's no way.
Yeah,
but the freaking poor cat had to have his leg amputated.
Yeah.
Because it was like right in the front, I guess. So like to save his life, they had to like amputate, you know. Yeah. But then the vet has the bullet, and it was like a pellet gun.
Oh.
But then a bunch of other neighbors, like in that same area of South Utica, have come out and been like, oh my God, like my cat has
injured.
Weird injuries.
Somebody's
like
picking off cats or something.
One lady said that her cat came back and had a weird injury, like he was like licking its paw and stuff, but the cat wouldn't let her look at the paw.
Right.
And then when she brought him to the vet, the whole like back left paw was declawed. And the vet's like, I have no idea how this could have happened. Like, it's not like...
Weird.
Like, it's not like the cat could have got, like, stuck somewhere and, like, I mean, maybe, like, ripped a claw off, maybe one, but the whole paw.
Right, it's gone, yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird.
And then another one said that there was, their cat got caught in a fox trap. And they had to call, like, the fire department and stuff. And, like, one of the neighbors, like, came and, like, pried, like, the springs off of it. And she said, like, it wasn't, like, the fox trap wasn't, like, secured to the ground, because I guess like people who actually set traps would secure them,
and it's like usually in the wilderness, not
like
in
they said they have no idea where it came from. Like nobody
weird.
knew where it was, like who put it there. It's not like one of the neighbors was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, like I've been trying to catch an animal that's like whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, and then, like I guess the cat, like all the cats are okay, but the one cat like had to have the leg amputated, and they're offering a, I guess PETA or one of the SPCA's or something is putting up an award saying if anyone knows
any information or whatever.
Any information, yeah. It's probably some fucking like sick like 7-year-old kid killing animals who's gonna be a serial killer someday.
Yeah, probably. Parental control.
But anyway, so if anybody knows anything about this,
yeah, please report it.
Yes, because we are animal lovers, and I'm sorry to anyone who had to deal with this.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, poor little kitties.
Hopefully they'll figure it out.
Poor little kitties.
On the upside, we are able to dine out now, so I know that a lot of people, including ourselves, got to do that this week. That was nice to kind of get out and just be in the public again for a little bit, have some good food.
First two places we went. We went to Brimfield Winery in Clinton. We went inside. We got a wine slushy to go. You could sit out on their little patio, and it's got like a really great view up there. And they also have a driving range, so we did that. And then we had we went to dinner at Ancora. It was delicious. So shout out to Ancora and shout out to Brimfield Winery.
Yeah. No, it's good spots. And it was beautiful. We went out last night, so it was like beautiful weather too.
Yeah,
so.
Perfect weather. Well, wait, I just think I should mention.
Okay.
Just like the protocols that they had, because you know everyone's like
the
curious.
Safety stuff. Yeah.
So they had paper menus, which I'm assuming they probably threw out after. They wiped down like the tables, the chairs, everything after everybody left the table. I know for Ancora they have seating at 4, 6, and 8. So they have plenty of time in between, and you don't feel like rushed.
Yeah, the transition
to get up. And we were there till 10 o'clock, but we were the last seating, so there was nobody else coming in to get seated.
Right.
You could walk inside, but you have to have a mask on. All of the staff wore masks.
Yep.
The tables were spread far enough apart.
Yeah, no, they did like, it looked like more than 6 feet to me, but I mean, they had, there was enough space for sure. They were within the guidelines. And they like kind of
extended it a little bit outside of their like normal.
Yeah, they had tables like outside of the fenced area as well.
So they were able to accommodate a few more. They do seating up to 10, which is I think the guidelines for the just in general. And I will note our waitress. So she took a picture of like a family sitting like a little bit in front of us. And then she was like, I'm going to go wash my hands. And she kind of like didn't touch anything. She used like her back. And I'm like, that's something that in normal times, like nobody would do, even though people's phones are disgusting.
Yeah,
they're not washing their hands after every like thing they touch.
Right, yeah.
You know, the menu, the credit card, the thing, the this, but then you're touching food and drinks and whatever. But I mean, I'm not a super germaphobe, but I think that if you are and you want to go out,
that's a good spot.
They're taking good precautions. So.
Yeah, and I can't speak for everybody else or anywhere else because we didn't go anywhere else yet. But if we do, we'll definitely keep you informed on that.
Well, the Brimfield Winery, I mean, that's not really like a high contact place, but she was wearing a mask and they had the Beacon Skiff hand sanitizer out, and they had hand sanitizer at Ancora at their station.
Yeah.
So, that was fun. Moving on.
No, definitely. I don't know if you want to talk about relationship stuff. About if you want to have that conversation, if you want to keep it light for now and then move into it later.
We could do it.
All right.
Might as well just get it over with.
Yeah, that's true. But we were going to talk about relationship communication and how it can directly affect basically the other person's mindset of what's actually going on or how they're trying to get you to commit to something or not commit to something. So we were talking to our friends last night, and they have someone in their family going through some, not really like struggles, but just relationship, like trying to figure it out as far as like how to communicate to their partner. Yeah. And we were basically discussing it as far as how we do it. So I said, this isn't for everybody. Every relationship's different. So, just take it with a grain of salt.
We are not experts.
And we aren't. We have our faults as well. But especially like in our situation, like right now, Riss isn't working. Well, she is. She's working like 2 days a week.
3.
But like, yeah, I mean,
Travis.
she's getting paid full, so it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, as far as like time at work, she's not at work a lot compared to me during the week. I'm working 7 days a week, and I have to work today even for a couple hours. So for me, I'm very like everything has to be direct and to the point, and it's time sensitive because I don't have time to like think or like, oh, what should we do? Well, let me think about it and get back to it. I don't have time to think about anything because I'm so rigid with my schedule right now. So she, on the other end of the spectrum, has a lot of time to like think about things. So for her, she could take my responses as very like short and like angry if she wanted to. But in reality, like yesterday, for an example, I texted her at like 2:00 and I was like, how's your day? Because I was busy till that point. And then right after that, I was busy again, so I didn't get to respond to her till 5, even though I actually wanted to know how she was doing it too. But it's just I get busy, so I don't have time to like be like, oh my God, how are you? What's going on? Like I don't have time to do that. So, but for her, like when we communicate, like she, like I said, could take it that I'm angry with her, but I'm not. So when we plan something though, like she doesn't say like, oh, well, what do you think about this? Like, what's your perspective? Do you want to do something else? Like, she's just like, we should do this. And I tell her the same, like, we should do this then because I might not talk to her for a couple hours. So, I mean, if you want to elaborate as far as that goes.
Well, yeah, and we just, I mean, as
what
far
works
as like
for you, what doesn't?
time, we just split up like, you know, if we don't have any other plans to this moment, then I'll be like, hey, so-and-so want us to come over. Are you cool with that? You know, just kind of like run it by them. Like, not like forcing you to do anything, but just like not also asking you to make a general. It's either yes or no.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
I just don't have time. Yeah.
I mean, in general, about the communication during the day, like we live together, so I don't need to talk to you 47 times during the day. Right. I mean, I get busy sometimes at work too. We were slammed yesterday, so like, yeah, I was able to text you back, but then even if you text me right back, I probably wouldn't have been able to text you for another hour because I was just because you were busy
too, right, with customers. Yeah.
But even then, like a normal, like general time, I mean, you don't really like you don't have your phone on any kind of sound, so you might not see a text for an hour. And I'm not like, oh, he's ignoring me, you know what I mean? Even if I'm asking you something serious, right. I don't get like mad because I just know that it's just how you are. You don't look at your phone 24 hours a day.
Right.
But I guess what we were talking about mainly last night too was that the problem with like relationships is just like it's like the times that we live in. Right. So
it's very game-esque.
Everyone thinks it's a game. Yeah. You know, it's like you got to play the game. When you're first starting to date somebody, it's like, oh, I'm not going to text him back, or I'm going to wait 20 minutes to text him back. I don't want to seem desperate. I don't want this. I don't want that. Like, and then you're sitting there thinking all these things, and you're thinking that the other person is thinking the same things, and they may or may not be. Right. So I think like as just mature adults, you just have to be like forward with what you want. Right. And if it doesn't work out, then maybe that's not a person you want to be with anyway. Right. You know, like I was saying, with me and you, like you were like, listen, if there's like something that you want me to do or don't want me to do, you need to tell me. Yeah. Like, you know, if you're having a bad day and you're going to go out with your friends and I'm just like, hey, look, I'm having a really bad day. Like, I would appreciate if you stayed home with me. You're fine. You're going to stay home with me and you're not going to be mad. But if I let you go and then I'm mad at you now because you couldn't see that I was in a bad mood, right. And then I'm mad at you for 3 days, like,
it's like projected.
That's worse.
Well, even like little stuff, if you want help, like mainly, like just for a easy light example, like taking the garbage out. Okay, like in my mind, I'm not thinking like, oh, I got to check the garbage and see if it's full. I'm thinking like, oh, what do I have to do tomorrow at work? Like, what do I have to do this week? Like, what am I trying to do tonight? Like, am I trying to hang out with people? Am I trying to do laundry? Am I trying to do this? Am I trying to do that? So, like, doing the garbage isn't fresh in my mind, okay? So, like, if she sees the garbage is full and she's like, hey, can you take the garbage out? I'll take the garbage out because I want to make her happy. I want to do things that need to be done. I'm just not aware that the garbage is full. So, like, just tell me that, hey, the garbage is full, and I'll take it out.
So this was an issue, too, that I can't even get mad about because when I lived home, that was me. Like, my mom was home all day. She cleaned the house. She did everything. So when I got home, I'm like, well, the house looks clean to me, you know? Right. But like her routine was that she vacuumed, you know, every day, no matter what. So she'd always yell at me and be like, I don't know why you just can't pick up the vacuum and just vacuum. And I'm like, well, if you want me to vacuum, just tell me to vacuum, you know? And she'd be like, well, I shouldn't have to tell you. You should just do it. Right. But that's the problem. Like, right.
It's the implication that like you should read my mind.
So that's like, you have to realize, like, no, you just have to ask that person. Like, if I could be pissed for weeks because Travis didn't do anything. But if I say, hey, can you vacuum? Sure. Hey, can you clean the bathroom? Sure.
Right.
Hey, can you do this? Sure. I mean, I don't do that like all the time, but it's like
right.
you just have to ask.
You just have to do it. Yeah, just if you want it done, ask for it. And the same thing, and granted, you have to understand the other person's maturity level. So if they're just an immature idiot, then it might not come across that way, and they might just be like, well, Well, in that case, fuck them, because they suck, obviously. So that's where you have to understand, though, the relationship, it's a two-person street. So, like, if she's going to get mad at how I address a situation, then I can either critique it, but then I'm not going to get the reaction I want, and it's not going to get done. Or I can just be direct, and yeah, she might get mad about it, but at least she'll know what I'm trying to do, and it's up to her to make that decision. She's an adult. She can make her own decision, whatever. But like you said, I think a lot of it is just the game that get behind it, and you're, like, waiting for the response. Just be like, hey, what are you doing? I want to hang out. If you want to hang out with somebody. That's the best way to hang out with someone. You know, like, don't be like, oh, well, what are you doing? I'm not doing nothing or anything or whatever.
So the key feeling or key points here.
Yeah, just tell them what you want to do.
Don't assume anyone knows what you're feeling or how you're feeling about a situation.
Right.
Be honest about how you're feeling or what you want. You know, whether it's what you want to do or what you want to eat or how you're feeling and whatever.
Right.
And I guess the third thing would be, I don't know, just be like open and honest. Like if you can't, I mean, new relationships are tough because you're trying to like, you're playing the field. You don't want to like, you know, like for us, like, because, you know, our friend last night had mentioned like there's like a risk involved. You know, if you're only in a few months in a relationship, yeah, there's some risk there because like, you know, things are going well and you, but you don't want to ruin it, but you want to bring something up. So there's something at risk. Like for us, I mean, if I say, hey, Trav, can you, like, help me? Like, you're not, it's not like you're going to be like, fuck this, I'm done. Like, we're not going to date anymore. Right. I mean, we're
yeah. Like, I'll just do whatever.
Like, I don't want to say, like, nothing's at risk, but it's just, like, we're comfortable enough that we can, like, just
and it's how you address. Like, I don't address her in a rude way either. I'm not like, hey, we're doing this later. I'm always like, hey, I was thinking about doing this. Do you want to do this? So that way I give her the option, and I'm also not being a dick, but I'm also getting across the point that I want to do something later. Like, do you want to do it with me or no? I need to know. So, like, I have to ask the question. But like I said, just how you approach it, too. Just say the right verbiage, you know? Just be like, hey, I was thinking about doing this. Are you interested, yes or no? And then you'll know.
And a lot of times, too, we'll be like, do we have any plans on the 10th?
Yeah.
You know, because
I have to schedule out most of my stuff.
Yeah,
so.
well, and a lot of times, like, you schedule...
Yeah, one of my biggest faults with her is that I'm very, like, before I was dating her, I was doing 900 things in a day. Like, I'd go to, like, Albany for, like, bike week in a day, and then, like, I'd golf in the morning, and then I'd do something else in, like, Utica that night. So I was in, like, 3 totally different cities, like, an hour and a half apart from each other in one day. Like, I was all over the place. So now, like, I've honed myself in because of her, obviously, because, you know, we're together, so I have to be, you know, considerate of her as well. But I still like to, because I don't have a lot of time either, I like to pack a lot of things into a day. So, like, I have, like, 3 hours off a night, so I try to do, like, 3 things that night. Yeah. So now instead I try to pack it into, like, 1 or maybe 2. But it does kind of stress her out sometimes because she's not me. So that's how I live. But so now I try to do like just one thing, like, hey, we could do this later, you know, and maybe do something else, but we'll play it by ear. But for now, I'd like to at least do that one thing.
And I don't mind like doing multiple things in a day and hanging out with like different groups of people.
She's very
like,
open to it.
Okay, we'll go golfing with so and so in the morning, then we'll go and like, you know, spend the afternoon with so and so, and then maybe do dinner with somebody later on at night. Like that's fine, but like, what I get stressed out is like. Sometimes like certain things that you're doing like might get dragged out. So now it's like, okay, well we're like, I don't want to like tell everyone to go home, you know, at 6:00 because we had plans with somebody at 7. And then it's like, but then you got to blow the people off at 7. So it's like too much. And then sometimes what you do that really like annoys me a little bit, not like annoys me, but just like, is like you'll have like 5 things planned, but then you add 3 more things in between. Yeah, and I'm like,
I do that too.
What? Like no. You know what I mean?
So I just have to be aware of that, and like I said, you can always grow in the relationship. You know, like for me, like I just have to be more realistic with my time schedule. All right, like I'm not realistic sometimes, and I've had to do that to people that I really care about. Like I'll schedule something like late at night, and then everything will run together in the day, and I'll miss that like opportunity to hang out. So I have to like be like, oh, I can't make it tonight. I'm sorry.
Well, the thing too, I think that you don't think of sometimes is like. You have to be considerate of the people you're making the plans with too.
Right.
So like, you know, you might say like, hey, I'm going to come see you at this time. And now it's an hour later. And then they're like, well.
And they're like waiting.
You know, you know, so it's like, whatever. Or maybe like, yeah, you're going to stop by, but then it's like, oh, I'm ready to go to bed, but I don't want to tell him to leave type thing. Right. Yeah. So sometimes like, even when we hang out with friends, I'm like, all right, Trav, you ready to go? And he's like, oh, already? And I'm like, yeah, it's 11:30. They have 2 kids. Like they're ready for fucking bed. Like, let's go.
So sometimes, like I said, I'm just not
overstaying your welcome.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I do that.
But sometimes. Then another point with the thing, because you mentioned something about like growing. I think that's a big thing with like just relationships is it's not about, so I saw something the other day on Facebook. And it's this girl I went to high school with, and I was never really like close with her, but I used to hang out with like her sister and stuff like that, just briefly. And she's married, and they've been together 10 years. And they have 3 kids, like whatever. So then someone recently asked me like, "What's our secret?" Because we got married like kind of young, and we're still together and like still really happy. And she's like, "There's no secret." She's like, "Relationships and marriages work." And like, no, you might not see every like happy and sad moment or whatever that we put like on Facebook, but you know, she's like, we've had really bad times and really great times, and she's like, we've had our fair share of both. She's like, but you just need to understand that like you need to grow in a relationship, right? Not like try to change people. That's the thing is like people try to like change the person to how they want them to really be,
right? Which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and you know what? We all might do that, like in a sense, and then you're like, okay, no, I can't do this because this is like the person's not going to change, but you just have to like grow with them.
Yeah, well, even like us, like little things, like doing this podcast. Okay, for her is a big commitment. Because it's every week, we have to do it for an hour, 30 minutes. It's probably like an hour and a half setup time, like roughly with everything, like just research and then setting up all the equipment and stuff and just getting ready in the mornings or at night. So it's a big commitment for her. It's a big time slot in a week. Even though it's just once a week, it's still a lot of time. So for me, when I asked her, I approached her with it, I was like, I was thinking about doing this podcast thing, see if it works, just because I want to do it. And would you be interested? And she was like, yeah, I would. But, like, she could have definitely said no. Like, it's too much time. Like, I don't want to do it. And that would have been fine to me either way because I would have still done it. I just would have had guests on or something more, whatever. But, like, she's every week doing it with me, and she was open to it. So she was allowing us to do something, it could be ours, our, like, baby, quote, unquote. So, like, I'm grateful for, like, the times that she does things that challenges me. Like, now I'm doing, like, all this audio stuff and video. So, like, I'm learning. I'm becoming more, well-encompassed as a person. But also we get to engage in a conversation that's just us once a week that's special as well. So, like I said, but it didn't have to be that way, and I would have been fine with that, too. But like you said, it's just a growth thing. Like, we could grow together. We can transition through our relationship, do different things. So, but I think the one thing last night, too, that's different from us to other relationships is some relationships – the couples aren't living together. So like us, we live together. So we don't talk sometimes during the day as much, but at night we still get together and we have those conversations because we see each other at night. So, when you're not together in a relationship, like when you're not living together, then you have to rely on either, phone, or texting basically. And they're not great forms of communication, but you have to rely on them. So I think if you are in a relationship where you're not living with a person, you have to be really like careful with what you say and how you text because, like I said, it's a weak form of communication. But if that's all you have, like you kind of have to, it's your lifeline. So you got to be real careful with like what you're saying and how you're saying things compared to like having an actual interaction because you can't tell tone and stuff. So, like I said, if there's one, key difference, I'd say it's that. If you're not living together, then you have to have that communication during the day or at night even. If you can't text during the day, that's fine, but you have to have that connection at night at least, once a day just to catch up. What are we doing? How are you? What can we do better? How are you, with our relationship? Are we doing good? Are we not? So. Or,
what, too, is like, you mentioned that, like if you can, just pick up the freaking phone. Yeah. Nobody wants to use the phone, which I totally understand. Texting is so much easier because like you can text while you're like working or whatever, but some things just like are way quicker and easier. Like even with us, like if you're at work all day, like even last night, like I texted you were texting me about our plans for later, and I was like, wait, I'm a little confused because like he's, trying to do a million things at once. So he's just like typing all this stuff and it's making sense like in his mind, but it's not making sense in mine because like he knows like background information and I don't. Right. So I'm like, wait, what's the plan? What are we doing? And I called him and then he didn't answer. And then I couldn't answer when you called me back. And then you did text again. And then I was like, okay, I understood it now. Yeah. But like if you're like too afraid to like pry or ask too many questions or like whatever, then it's like
you're never going to know.
You're never going to get, yeah.
And honestly, I hate answering the phone generally. Like I don't like my phone's always like this everywhere I'm at. Like in my pocket at work, I don't like distraction at all. So it's always upside down. And then whenever I get a free moment, I'll flip it over and see what the hell's on it because then I can have time to react. Yeah. But like I'm not going to look at it. Ooh, who's this? Ooh, I don't care. All right, I'm doing other shit. So, but like when she calls me at work, like sometimes I'll see it or I'll see it a couple minutes late when I miss it. And sometimes I don't want to answer because I'm in the middle of a million things and I'm stressed and I don't want to talk to her when I'm stressed because, you know, my levels are out of control and I'm short with what I'm saying because I'm a person. But like I still answer her and I try to be like objective with it. Like I try to separate from work for a minute and talk to her because she needs to know things that we're talking about, you know, especially with plans and stuff, because that's the only time she's going to know is in that minute, because after that I'm going to be going to that location or wherever we're trying to do.
And I'm like, am I going home first? Am I meeting you? What am I doing?
Yeah. So like in that moment, it's important to kind of put yourself aside because the other person needs to know what the hell you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish. So like I said, I think it's just, you know, you gotta, relationships at work, man. They're just a lot. So
they are,
you just can't be real selfish because it's not going to work.
And you just can't assume that it's all going to be like perfect in a fairy tale because it's not.
Yeah. It's mostly
and if it's
just
not
it's
okay. Like I feel like some people are like, oh, we're having like a little bit of like a rough patch, or like, is this normal? Is this the right person for me? I mean, I think that, you know, in other ways, like if you're just in like a super toxic relationship and whatever, but like there's things that, you know, you might go through like frustrations and it's normal. Like you have to, nobody's perfect. Like it's just willing to, like, I think too many people are like, oh, we had a little bump, like break up, divorce, like this is it. You know, I mean,
well, here's what happens in most relationships, right? You've been together for so long, like it either goes stagnant or you have to grow and do things differently. There's only those two options. So it's either going to end up like you're going to break up because no one's doing shit different and you're going to get bored with it, or you're going to, like I said, grow and do things different and, you know, encompass new things, you know, new talents, new things you like to do together. You're going to build things together. So you have those two options. But like the problem is in the middle, you get to that point and then sometimes people are like, well, I'm comfortable here. This is where I'm going to stay. At that point, it's already over because they're not going to do anything different. You're going to get frustrated because you've moved past, you want to grow, and they want to stay over here. Now you're not in the same alignment. It's not going to make sense. So you have to be able to either grow together and understand that when you get to that peak, that there's going to be the struggle of like, okay, what are we doing? Are we going to go forward or are we not? Like I'm trying to do this over here and you're kind of staying here. So now we're going to grow together or we're not. So that's where you always have that though in a relationship. It's you know, there's no timing to it, but you'll know when you're there because it's frustrating because you're trying to figure out, you know, we got to do things differently because it's not working now. So before we were here, now we're over here. So like life is a transitional thing. It's always moving, always changing. So
there was one more thing it reminded me of, and then we could switch to something else.
Yeah, sorry.
This topic got really out of hand
beating
here.
It up here. Yeah. So.
But well, I think too, like a lot of people talk about like the honeymoon phase.
Yeah, they're really
how it's like new and exciting, and they're doing a lot of things together. Well, they call it that because it doesn't last forever, and that's not a bad thing.
No,
okay,
definitely.
no one's in a honeymoon
Yeah.
phase the entire time of their relationship. It can't be. Like life is monotonous.
It's not sustainable.
Like life in general is monotonous, whether you're alone or with somebody else. Like it gets monotonous. So you have to be like happy with that person in those moments.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, you have to take in that time because it's going to be different. Like I said, you're always moving forward. So while it's there, enjoy it. Take it in.
Like,
but it's going to be changing.
You're going to be doing a lot of like annoying things like mowing the lawn and cleaning the house and just like your general day-to-day like annoyances.
Nonsense,
and if you like are only happy with the person you're with when you're doing something fun and exciting, then maybe it's not like the right.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy being with you whether we're cleaning the house or whether we're like at a concert.
Right.
You know, it's just
I don't need anything to want to be with you every day.
Right.
Like I'm like just like having a conversation or doing coffee in the morning. Totally fine. That's all I need. I'm easy to please. I don't need anything else, you know, like because that's for me, like I'm working so much, I'm stressed out of my mind with nonsense as it is all the time. So I enjoy our moments because there isn't really stress there compared to normal things. Right. So like,
well, like even last night, we did that stuff. We went to dinner. We were home by 10ish. Yeah. We watched a couple TV shows, and then by 11 o'clock, like first of all, I passed out on the couch, and then we went to bed, and I'm like, oh, this is our life, like on a Saturday night. Totally
fine.
But I'm like, yeah, we don't need to be up till 2 a.m. like raging at a bar to have fun.
Yeah.
Like we did that.
Yeah, we were
for the last 10 years.
So the thing, if you're younger, you know, enjoy those stages. You know, I'm not saying don't have fun. Right. Definitely, if you're younger, you know, go live that life if that's what makes you happy. We have some younger friends that live that way now, and like I said, we were all there, so. And you can't judge them. Like a lot of people get bitter about stuff and be like, "Oh, what are you doing that for?" Blah blah blah. You're an idiot. You did it too, asshole, when you were 20, whatever. So shut up.
Well,
so
another
let
thing
them
too,
take it in, you know, and
live
another
their
thing
life, too, I guess,
you know?
is like don't if you're young, like don't be like, "Oh, I need to be in a committed relationship at the age of 22," because, like, I basically like partied hard. Even like up until we dated. I mean, like when you're like single, like, and you want to do that, like, but do it because
it's better to get it out.
There's some people that are in a committed relationship for like from when they're 18 to they're 28, and then like 28 to 30 or whatever is like when maybe you are actually trying to settle down, and it's like, but then you are like, well, I wasted my whole life. Like I didn't
so
have
then you're
fun.
living kind of, not that you're living backwards, but you're trying to recapture the past, and you can't do it. It's over. It's gone.
Went to college. I partied. I drank a ton. Like I had whatever. It's like I don't need to do that. Like if I go, like my like what we did yesterday is like my idea of fun. Like dinner and drinks. Like winery and golfing range, like brunch, that type of stuff. Like, I don't want to go to the bar till 2 a.m. taking shots. Like, I did that for years, and it's like I'm over it, you know.
Oh, definitely.
But it's good to get that out of your phase, like, or out of your system, you know. And even with us, it's like we went through, like, we dated a lot of people in the past. Like, we don't like feel the need to have to do all those things that we did when we were 22 because like we got it out of our system.
Right. One of the things she's always joking with me with, she doesn't mean it, but she's always like, "Oh, who are you talking to? Your girlfriend or whatever?" You know. And I always say this. I was like, "Nah, it's like I already know what's out there. Like I was already out there. Okay, like it's all the same. Okay, like once you've already seen it all, like you're not going back to anything. Like you already did it. You already know what's there. So just you're over here now. What are you gonna do back there?"
And that's just things I don't really mean it. Like, I mean, even him, like, he'll be like, "I'm on my way home. Make sure you tell your boyfriend to leave." Like, ha ha ha.
And I give it back to her as a joke. Right. And I don't mean it, and I'm not insecure about it. And when I get home, I'm like, was he really here? You know, like.
No. Or I'll be like, "What time are you coming home?" And it's not because I have somebody at the, I'm like, just like, should I cook dinner or not?
Right, yeah. Then, that's my biggest thing. Like, this week I was late a couple times. You had dinner ready, so I felt bad. But yeah, so this relationship stuff, I figure we talk about that. Sorry if it's a little deep, but I figure it's good to know, though. Like, everyone's in a relationship or trying to be in a relationship, most likely, so. You know, it just kind of helps. Any little bit helps. Any information out there.
Again, we are not experts.
Not experts.
It's just sometimes things that you just think about, like.
Yeah. On the upside, NBA is coming back July 31st, so we got some hoop coming back. I'm looking forward to that since we missed March Madness like completely this year.
Yeah.
And now we got 22 teams in basketball that are going to go to the playoffs, so that'll be good. At least we'll get some sort of sports and basketball back because I'm a sports guy. So that's exciting that sports are coming back. On the downside, we got jcpenney that's closing like 154 stores, including Sangertown Mall, Destiny, Rome. So that's kind of sad to see. I still remember the jcpenney commercials, the 1-800-98-Jenny from like 1998.
I do not remember.
Yeah, I remember that. On like regular TV. And it was like 94 Jenny, I think, before that. And then, they just kept it the same. Yeah, so I remember that though growing up. So that's kind of sad.
I don't think this is the first time JCPenney has had like issues
closings.
With bankruptcies and stuff. So I don't think that.
Well, they're starting to be like online, right? It's just the physical stores that are closed.
Yeah, well, they said 154 stores. I don't think that's every single store. It's just like, I mean, God, Sangertown.
Yeah, Sangertown sucks.
Well, even like Destiny, like JCPenney isn't like, you can't really. Like Macy's, like Destiny has like Macy's, and they have Nordstrom, and they have like Saks and all that other stuff. So it's like those are like high end department stores, and like JCPenney's kind of like, it's like how Sears was. Right. Like you're not buying like name brand stuff sometimes, but not like crazy. No. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like a little bit, But unfortunately, like everything's moving online. Yeah. I mean, hopefully they'll still be able to like. I've been buying a bunch. I buy stuff at JCPenney, not really clothes though, but like. Bedding, yeah, right. Bedding, shoes, even.
Yeah, I buy some T-shirts stuff. That's like sometimes they do like the I don't know what it is, 70-90% off, whatever they do for like I've been seeing August.
Stuff show up on like how it shows up on your Facebook or whatever.
Yeah,
they got like stuff for like $12. I just actually bought a bunch of clothes from Kohl's because like they had shirts that were like $40 that were like $12.
Yeah, they mark them down huge.
Yeah. I
gotta get some new stuff actually.
I got a bunch of stuff. I got like 3 pairs of shorts, 2 shirts, and a pair of pants for like $80.
Yeah, it's not bad. Like I said usually it's like $20 a piece.
Yeah.
For like whatever you buy. Next here we got Cuomo's new policy to end police brutality. This is Riss's topic.
So hang on, let me pull up my notes here. Everything is going away here.
It's gone.
Yeah. So he posted something. Where is it? I had it in somewhere else. No, it's gone. Okay. I had an article. Where'd it go?
We can look at the text you sent it to me earlier.
Yeah, it's not on this one because I don't have my personal. Bear with me. Oh no, we're having a snag. We're having a snag.
No, now what?
Okay, so it's called Saytheirname Reform.
Okay.
So what it is basically like he's saying that police brutality needs to stop. So he's making some policy changes for law enforcement. So basically it's like the agenda includes like the allowance for transparency of prior disciplinary records of law enforcement officers by reforming 50A of the Civil Rights Law. So I guess like if you're a law enforcement officer and you had a disciplinary record, like it's not supposed to be like hidden type thing. Banning chokeholds by law enforcement officers, prohibiting false race-based 911 reports and making them a crime, and then designating the attorney general as an independent prosecutor for matters relating to the deaths of unarmed civilians caused by law enforcement. So instead of having like a private lawyer or something like that, it's the attorney general handles it. And then the false race-based thing, they said that like if you like call in, I guess like the way I read it was like if you call in like a 911 call and it's like basically just like, oh, there's like a suspicious black man or something like that. Like, it's like considered almost like a hate crime.
Right.
Because you're just like racially profiling.
Well, that's good. Like I said, I mean, that's things that will hopefully clean some of this stuff up.
Yeah.
And then next is herd immunity.
Yes. So I guess what herd immunity is whenever there's like a new virus or disease or anything like that, like the population needs to be gain immunity. Mm-hmm. And I guess that the population gains immunity by vaccines.
Right.
Or by getting it, you know.
Right.
So they were saying, like, there's people, I guess, that kind of, there's both ways. Like, there's scientists and people that believe, like, just, like, stop everything, let everyone just do what they want, and whoever gets it, gets it. Right. And then it builds immunity.
And then you get the immunity that way.
Because, like, I mean, if 3 million people got exposed with the virus, doesn't mean 3 million people are going to get sick.
Right. Yeah.
But it builds immunity.
It builds immunity up, yeah.
Like, the other part of that is, like, well, what if a lot of people do get sick? Right. Then it's going to, overload the healthcare system. Right, and then, like, maybe there'll be deaths that could be prevented because, like, it's just overloaded. Mm-hmm. So it's like they don't want that either. I mean, I guess, like, with the flu, it's different because they do have a vaccine.
Yeah. Like I said, that's one way they control it is having the vaccine.
Yeah.
So it's, I think, the preferred method.
Yeah. So some people are just like, screw it. Just, like, let everyone get it. And, like, whoever gets it, gets it. So, like, with chicken pox. Like, put all the kids in the same room. Let them get it at the same time. But
chicken pox sucks, too. Have you ever had it?
I have had it. It's awful. But the thing with chicken pox is, like, once you get it, you'll never get it again.
Right.
Yeah, you can get shingles as an adult.
Yeah.
But, like, this, they don't know if you could get it again. Right. I don't know if that's ever been, like, confirmed or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you could probably get the flu twice. Like, if you get, it doesn't mean you
get, the flu you could do seasonal. That's why they do the vaccine seasonal.
Right. So I just, like, was reading about that. It was, like, just, like, a brief thing.
No, it's a good
there was really
thing,
nothing else I saw about it. But, like, the picture was basically, like, 1 million people at the beach at the same time.
Right, yeah. That's, so like, the example.
Yeah.
Next, we have the 75-year-old man in Buffalo.
Yes. So I guess I don't really know, like, all the details about that. There was a protest going on. Mm-hmm. And I heard, like, I guess, like, the man was trying to talk to them or something. I don't know if he picked up a helmet or something. They told him to put it down. And then they, like, pushed him over and he hit his head on, like, a concrete, like, ball.
Slab or something.
Yeah, something like that. And he was in, like, critical but stable condition in the hospital.
Right.
And I guess the police officers were suspended and they're being investigated. But I don't know if it was, like, a malicious thing or if it was an accident.
Right. Yeah, I heard about it at work, so I didn't get to actually read up on it. I have no idea really what happened.
Right. I don't know if
I just know what I heard.
Because then when I heard the helmet thing, I didn't read, like, I was trying to read the article, but I didn't say, like, what he did.
Right.
That's another thing, though, with all this now is, like, everyone's like, oh, police brutality. Now they're just, like, making it seem like all the cops are bad doing things. Kill
just...
You're like, oh, look, they pushed this innocent man over. Well, like, maybe he was doing something that they felt threatened. I don't know. I'm not going either side here. Like, yes, there is police brutality. Yes, there are bad cops, but there's also bad people in the world too.
Yeah, well, that's the hard thing. Just like with COVID, it's like the data's mixed because there's like good data out there, and like just like with the cops, like there's good information out there of what's actually happening, and it's getting overshadowed by just this rampant media frenzy stuff to keep the ball rolling.
And that's the thing is
so
like the media.
It's hard to differentiate.
The media just produces hysteria.
Right.
That's their goal. Their goal is not to get factual information across, as even though they might tell you that it's not. It's to cause mass hysteria.
Right.
So like. You notice, like, we haven't even heard about COVID in the last 3 weeks because it's all they've been talking about is the riots and the police brutality and the protesting, which that stuff needs to be brought to light.
Right.
But the media isn't doing that to try to be, like, better people. They're just being like, ooh, a new thing to cause great hysteria about.
Right. And to me, that's another thing is that they're not trying to bring us together with the stuff that's happening. They're trying to pull us apart.
It's like they took the murder hornets. They're like, something new, murder hornets. Let's run with it. Then they're like, oh shit, riots. This is way better. Scratch the murder hornets. Like,
so you just gotta be careful.
Do,
you know, be careful with what you read. You know, definitely cross-reference stuff. That's what I always do. I try to if I have one topic, I try to cross-reference it with like 6 different sites because not even 2. Like 2's not enough in this day and age. You got to go with like everything that you can possibly find on the topic and then read it.
And I will say about this man,
because then you'll have at least a general idea of what's really happening. Right,
the 75-year-old man. It's not like he was not saying he's not innocent, but it's not like he was just like walking by and like. He got attacked. Like he was they said he's a long time like heavy activist. Right. He writes like pieces for the paper every week, like opinion pieces. Not that that makes him a bad person, but he's like very active in like all sorts of activists. Right. So I mean, it could have been his behavior could have come across as aggressive, or maybe it was just a pure accident. I mean, I'm sure they're going to investigate it. So
they'll figure it out. So we'll have to keep an eye on that to see what really happened, I guess. Next, some positive. I got the Space Shuttle Dragon docked at the space station this week, so I was kind of keeping up on that just because I'm interested in space and SpaceX launch success. So just the ongoing on that I've been watching and listening to. Also, the astronauts actually reviewed the launch, and they went through the different stages of the engines as far as how it felt compared to the shuttle. So they actually reviewed the SpaceX launch. And said that basically the initial stage was really smooth and it was like pretty bearable because granted you're going at excessive speeds and there's a lot of G-force and all stuff that you feel. They said that the first stage was really, really well. Everything went pretty smooth. They said the second stage, one of the major differences that SpaceX uses liquid nitrogen in their boosts compared to solid that the shuttle uses. So there's a difference in how it feels, I guess. According to the astronauts, the stage 2 was real hesitant in between stages. So stage 1, they're doing, 15,000 or 1,500 miles an hour, and then, they break off. Then there's a gap between stage 2. So when they initiated stage 2, there was a 100th of a second delay. So you're basically doing 1,500 miles an hour, you're projecting out, and then there's a delay. So basically you're doing that and then you stop. Like there's no force, nothing. Like, you're just sitting there in space. And then in that 100th of a second or whatever, it hit. So like the launch and all this stuff, all this gas just starts pushing you through space again at 1,500 miles an hour again. So you're going from 0 to like 1,500 miles an hour in that second. So like I said, it feels like a jerk, like a really heavy jerk in the shuttle, I guess. But that's interesting because I didn't know that they use different, nitrogens and all that. There was liquid versus solid. So it's just something interesting to note that that really happened to them. And, they felt the impact of that. So they said that was kind of where stage 2 got a little rocky compared to stage 1, obviously. But overall, they liked it. I guess, really. Yeah, we wouldn't know, like they're the one experiencing it. But it's just kind of cool that they could, break it down for, the everyday person to understand. But they said the space suits and stuff are really great too, like they're comfortable and all that. So it's kind of just interesting to keep up on that. I'll be watching that too, for updates. Next, there's Jeffrey Epstein's documentary coming up that's on Netflix right now. I kind of want to watch that just to get. Granted, it's a Netflix take on it, however they want to spin it. Mm-hmm. But I would just like to get more information generally because I didn't really read up into it too much. I know, roughly what happened. Yeah. But kind of just, I don't know. I'm interested in weird stuff. Yeah. So.
Well, right now we're watching Space Force on Netflix.
Space Force with Steve Carell. Yeah, we're trying to lighten the mood. We've been watching a lot of heavy stuff with Black Mirror and whatnot. So. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to rewatch that episode we started last night because it seemed interesting, but I was out of it. So.
Yeah, the one, I forgot what it's called now, but basically it's about like these hornets that are like controlled by AI and by software. And they like hive and stuff. I don't really know what the point.
Then there was like a lady that died. So.
But then they're using them like someone's basically hacking into them, and they go into people's heads and kill them. Like it goes into their pain. Like basically it goes into the pain part of their brain, and it makes them do whatever.
Like crazy things.
Yeah, like literally anything. Is that
what happened with that woman?
Yeah.
So I fell asleep, so I didn't.
So literally the person will do anything to get rid of the pain because it's so intense. So like they end up killing themselves, or it's really gruesome how they take themselves out.
It's kind of like
just to get the pain
Hunger
out.
Games.
Yeah, sort of.
They had the tracker jackers.
Yeah, so that's what it is, pretty much same thing. But so they were like monitor it and they were going through all that. But
the tracker jacker would like if you got stung, it would make you like hallucinate.
Yeah. Yeah, and this one, like I said, is just a pain spectrum, so just different.
Remember like when PETA, when they sent PETA, when like the Capitol took PETA as a prisoner, they injected him with tracker jacker venom, and they made him like he would hallucinate every time he saw Katniss. He wanted to kill her.
Right.
He saw her as the enemy. So that's what they were. It's like warfare,
Yeah, it's a mind control type thing. Next, we got Kim Kardashian and Kanye. Want to discuss that?
Well, first of all...
Jesus Walks.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
Walks. It was good, too. So, well, first with Kanye, I saw that he was donating money to the families, like to George Floyd's family.
Yeah, which I think is awesome. That
set up a college fund.
His daughter,
but it wasn't just him. It was
the other
no. It was other people that he donated to. So
okay, so
he's not the only person. I mean, recently there was the Ahmaud Arbery guy who got killed by two like white joggers, just killed
just because,
like,
right. Which is awful.
He donated to his family, and then this one is like the most wild like thing I could even like Breonna Taylor. So she was like sleeping in her house. The police like busted in her house and shot her like 12 times, killed her. While she was sleeping. And they were in the totally wrong house.
Oh, my God.
And she was like 23. So he also donated to her family. So it was like multiple things. And then I saw it, but it was only one article. So I don't know how true it is.
Yeah.
Well, the donating the money was true. I think I also saw Michael Jordan was donating money.
Yeah, Michael Jordan set up something too,
yeah.
Which is huge.
But then I saw an article saying like, Kim is looking for a new place to live to save marriage as a last-ditch effort to save her marriage with Kanye. And apparently, like, someone's like, the quarantine's getting to them. They're spending too much time together. I'm like, oh, God forbid.
Right.
She's like, Kim's spending so much time with the kids. Another thing, God forbid. Like,
oh, my God.
Stuff that all of us normal humans have to deal with every day, but they don't,
Right.
So I don't really know if like...
That's a true thing, though.
I don't know if it's true or not. I mean, I can't imagine it would be easy living with either one of those people because they both annoy me. But
yeah, that's what it was. Sorry, I just wanted to pull this up quick because Michael Jordan. I thought that was the number. Michael Jordan donated $100 million to fight racial equality. Yeah. So that's huge, like I said. And granted, he's worth like $1 billion, but still, like it's a huge amount of money and a great cause, obviously. So that's great. Like I said, all these people are getting behind it and trying to correct it, counter and hopefully get it, leveled out at some point.
Yeah.
So that brings us into underrated, overrated.
So I have 3 topics for underrated, overrated, and then I have like an either or.
Okay.
Okay. So my first one for underrated, overrated.
Okay.
Is having kids.
Yeah, which we talk about pretty generally. I'm pretty sure all you guys know how we feel about it right now. But I don't know. I think having kids can be an amazing thing. I don't know personally because I don't have any. But I think that there's a lot of awesome things you can take away from kids if you do it right. There's like, Bill Burr, same thing. He had kids late in life. He didn't want kids. He had kids at like 45. Now they're expecting another one. Congratulations.
Right.
But I think that, kids can be really awesome if you're a good parent. And, ultimately they're going to do what they want anyway.
All right, overrated, underrated. Say it.
I'm going to say...
Overrated.
For me, overrated. Yeah.
Well, here's my take on why.
Go ahead. Okay. Yeah, elaborate.
Because I don't want to piss off any parents. A lot of my friends are parents. I love everyone's children. I just don't want them for myself. But here's why I say it's overrated. Because, like, in general, people are just like, when are you going to have kids? Are you having kids? And when you say no, they're like, oh, what do you mean no? Yes, you're going to change your mind. Yes, you have to have kids. And it's like, no, that's the problem. Like,
yeah,
I don't want kids for a reason.
Right.
Because I know how I am as a person.
Right.
Like, everyone's like, no, it'll change when you have kids. And it's like, yes, I know that. I wouldn't be like a shitty mom, but I don't want to do it. Like, it's not for me. I don't want to have kids. I don't want to have to change my whole lifestyle over it. And like, maybe I'm being selfish, but at the same time, like having kids
is still selfish.
Yes.
Either way, it's a selfish decision.
And then I hear people like say to me, well, who's going to take care of you when you're older?
Also the wrong reason.
That is not the reason that you should. If you're having kids,
right? Someone's got to take care of me.
You can have somebody.
No.
Because it's not fun. Like, I mean, I'm sure my mother didn't have children to be like, she's going to take care of me when I get older.
Right,
but taking care of somebody who's dying is not a fun thing. And I don't want anyone to have to ever go through that.
Yeah.
Me and you both did it.
Yeah. I took care of my dad when he got sick. And I vividly remember how awful it was.
Yeah.
Not that, loving him was awful, but just seeing him in that condition, unable to help, was the worst thing that I can remember to date.
And it's like, there's a lot of people that have kids that end up like, maybe getting sick or whatever. And it's like, it's not easy to watch your kids go through that.
Right. That either. Yeah. If they get cancer or something.
And that's, that could be whatever. But to have children for the sole purpose of somebody to take care of you in life is like, that's selfish.
Yeah, you're an awful person.
Another thing, too, is like, I mean, we're not by any means loaded. Okay, kids are expensive. I do not want to put myself in a situation where I'm like, how am I going to afford my kid?
Right, exactly.
And like, that's a thing, too. I'm like, I just want to be able to kind of like enjoy life and not have to like break my back to like, and this sounds selfish too, but like, I don't want to have to like struggle to like give my kid like the basic necessities because like we're not making like
then you never see them anyway because you're always working. Or
we have
like
a ton of exactly. Like we have a ton of debt. I mean, we're just trying to like get by like ourselves. It's hard enough, let alone like bringing children into the world.
Right.
So I just say overrated for us, not like I'm not saying like against people that have kids.
And here's my reasons. Like I said, and I'm for people. Like I said, I have a goddaughter I love dearly, like more than life, basically. Like she's amazing in my mind. She's the shit. But like I said, for me, like I won't have kids because of the future either. Like I've done a lot of thinking about it, like growing up in today's age, like COVID, like who the hell saw that coming? Mm-hmm. And now you got kids running around and you're trying to like, you're at home with them and you're trying to keep them safe and all this shit and keep them away from people. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's nuts. And then on top of that, you got AI that's coming in, like Elon Musk talks about, like all this interaction with AI that people are going to have access to soon to hopefully counter problems such as dementia, stuff like that, sight, hearing, which is all good things in theory. But the other end of that is that it could be awful as well. It could become like a mind control type thing. Not that I'm into conspiracy stuff, but
just watch Black Mirror episodes.
Well, just as far as technology goes, right? Basic technology to date that we can look back on. Okay, so like Nintendo was like what 84 or something, and now in 2020 we have like full-fledged digital everything, and we went from like 156 megabyte phones to like 100 and whatever gigs that we have right now, or 256 or whatever it is currently. I don't even know.
Go up higher than that.
But yeah, and that's just within a 10-year span.
You get a phone that has a terabyte.
Yeah, so you're telling me that technology isn't going to advance at that rate continuously through time, and that my child's going to end up living in that world. Yes, they are. And if you don't think that, then that's something that, whatever, you're wrong. But
in general, I just think that, like...
But for me, that's what I think about. I think about that, like the future projection, like when I get older, what's going to be left for them, or what's going to be, the new living normal.
Another thing, too, is, like, I just think in general, like, I talk to a lot of people on a daily basis, being in, like, sales and stuff. People are always like, oh, do you have kids? Are you married? And I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, do you want? And I'm like, no, I don't want kids. And they're like, oh, like people think it's crazier that you do not want kids than people that like have kids that shouldn't be having kids.
Right.
Yeah. They're like, they just think it's crazy. And it's like, I'm sorry, but like.
Which is disconnected.
We don't need to have like children. It's not a thing.
We'll just take care of yours.
Anyway, that got a little heavy.
Yeah, sorry. Real tight on
underrated,
stuff
overrated cruises.
I would say underrated because I was going to say overrated because I never went on one. But then when I went on one, I was actually pretty pumped and it was a lot of fun. So it was actually a really good time. And you get to see stuff too. Like I was really excited about the trips we went on, like while we were, ported
I think if you're like an avid cruiser and you've cruised multiple times, you would say that they were like accurately rated, I guess. Yeah,
probably by then.
But if you've never been on a cruise, like people are like, oh no, I don't want to go on a cruise. Like I don't want to be in the water. I don't want to be on a boat. I'm like, they're like a city. Like it's unbelievable. Like when you walked on that boat, you were like,
yeah, what the hell?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Granted, we went on like the second biggest at the time that they had to offer. So it was amazing.
But even like the smaller cruise ships are still amazing. Like just everything, like the food, the activities, like the customer service on them. They're just awesome. Like,
the customer service is really great on ours. That I can really say. But,
and I think cruising's cool too. It's like, oh, like I really like St. Martin. Okay, well, like maybe next time we'll just go to St. Martin and just like book a trip there and just go there like for a week or something, But it's like nice to just stop and see things.
Yeah, different places that you wouldn't normally go to.
Because honestly, like when we went to Puerto Rico, like I wasn't super excited to go to Puerto Rico because it was like San Juan. It's not like really like beachy. I don't know. Well, it is.
Yeah,
but
we were at the beach,
but like I was just like, I'm not like super, and I loved it. I loved Puerto Rico.
Yeah, no,
it was
that was probably my favorite. Yeah, just say me too.
But I
we
just
went
was
on a cool tour while we were there, and I loved the tour that we went on. So
it
was
awesome.
really great. Yeah.
My next one is hard seltzers, underrated or overrated?
I'm gonna say probably accurately rated. I don't know. Like I'm not sold on them, but I do like seltzer drinks. So
yeah,
like they're my go-to, I guess, in the summer, just because they're light and I know you don't like them.
I say overrated only because like I don't like seltzer, and I think that everyone's like obsessed with them. Like they're like, ooh, like. It's like better for you. It's better for you. It's not. Like they're still full of sugar. Yeah. They're still full of calories. Like they're still carbonated. There's still alcohol in them. Yeah. I just say overrated. There's so many now.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of going the other way now. I'm trying to get away from the carbonated because I can't do it anymore. Like just my body is different now. I can't drink them like I used to. So it's not my go-to. And then.
Okay, then I have either ors.
Okay, here we go.
So either or, Oreos or Chips Ahoy.
I'm going to say Chips Ahoy Chewy. Not regular Chips Ahoy. I'm not a fan of Chips Ahoy regular. But Chips Ahoy Chewy is like my favorite shit.
I like Chips Ahoy better too. Either the hard ones or the chewy ones or like the chunky. I just like. I'm not a huge, like, I like Oreos.
Yeah,
I don't like Oreos, but
right.
I don't like double stuffed Oreos.
Yeah, they're not like my go-to snack though.
Yeah, I'm not a big on like all that cream in the middle. Like everyone's like, well, I know people like love the double stuffed.
Yeah.
I like the like chocolate on chocolate ones, but I don't like any of those other flavored ones like red velvet or like.
Yeah, I actually like the red velvet. I like red velvet and the Cinnabon one better, or cinnamon, whatever it is, better than the normal Oreo. Yeah. That much I can say. I like them, like the flavored ones better.
I'm a Chips Ahoy fan, but I will say that the like Aldi brand of the cookies, like the chewy ones, are so much better than Chips Ahoy.
Yeah, Aldi, like I said, is underrated itself. Like, if you haven't had them, get Aldi cookies because they're like the shit.
And then my other one is Chipotle or Moe's.
Chipotle. Yeah. Moe's only on Monday.
Yeah.
When they're like half off or whatever.
I would say hands down Chipotle. Half off,
when they're cheaper.
Like you can get one of those like rice burrito bowls at Moe's. And you can put way more stuff in it. Yeah. But I just feel like I want to die after I eat it.
Yeah, like they're a lot of grease and just like blah after. Chipotle to me is like just the right amount of everything.
And everyone likes Moe's queso better, which they do have good queso, but I think that now Chipotle has that queso blanco. And that's really good.
Yeah. No,
I'm a big Chipotle fan.
Yeah, no, me too.
I mean, if you asked me like if I had to pick like Chipotle or Moe's, like if one of them had to go away forever. Yeah. I'd say Moe's. Keep Chipotle.
Since it's summer, I got one for you. Underrated, overrated, Stewart Shakes.
Underrated. Yeah. No, Stewart's Shakes are
thick,
bomb.
Chocolate.
You got to get the extra thick though.
Yeah, extra thick. That's where it's
I got one the other day that wasn't extra thick, and I like regretted it a little bit.
You know what surprised me was I had Five Guys shakes the other day because I just went ham this week and I was stressed. I was eating like an idiot. So I had a bacon cheeseburger from Five Guys, followed by a coffee shake. And let me tell you what, that was like the best combo like of the week. I still remember it, like how good it was. So granted, I wouldn't recommend it if you're trying to be healthy because it's like 1,500 calories or something awful.
That sounds so good.
But, yeah, well, like I said, I was like stress eating this week. So like when I was stressed, it's like the perfect go-to food if you are stressed. But it's like, yeah, their shakes are underrated though. I'll give Five Guys that.
I've never had one of their shakes.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I don't know if it's going to be any good, but it was really good. I was surprised. So
yeah, Stewart's has like, I mean, even their ice cream's good. Line, the only thing like that Stewart's doesn't have a soft ice cream. Yeah. So sometimes like when I want an ice cream cone, I just want a soft cone. Yeah. And you know who has really good ice cream? Who? And people don't realize this is Dairy Dell.
Oh really?
Yes, they have.
Where's that at?
It's like right up at the corner by like Napoli's Bakery.
I don't know.
Culver Ave.
I'm never paying attention, I guess.
You know when like you're driving to 5S?
Yeah.
It's like a little shitty convenience store on the right side.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I do know what you're talking about. It's like kitty corner from Auto Dimensions, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, that's Napoli's Bakery.
Oh, right, yeah, same thing, right.
But no, like we go with her all, like we used to go there all the time because it's like right here. Yeah. And it's like cheap and it's so good.
Yeah, I'll have to
try it.
And
I think it's like a custard. I don't know. It's just like it's like thicker. It's just really it's good. And it's just like vanilla chocolate twist. They don't have anything fancy there.
Right, just regular.
You could get like a sundae or like a banana split or whatever, but nothing like.
Can't get a baby blue goo flavor burst.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's my other go-to.
I don't think they. I mean, they have like some hard ice creams, but they don't have like a ton of options because they're not an ice cream shop. They're a convenience store. Right. But
they're soft.
And I say shitty because it just looks kind of like run down a little bit. But they have a lot of good stuff in there. Like, you can go in there and just ask for dough, and they'll give you like a bag of dough. Oh. And their dough is like raw dough. Right. And it's bomb to make like garlic knots with or to make like a roll.
Like pizza or something.
Yeah, or just even like a sausage roll or a spinach roll or something. Huh. It's like really good dough.
Let's try it sometime.
Yeah.
I haven't had it there. I don't think either.
So yeah.
Nice.
I think that concludes
episode 21.
Episode 21.
Sorry,
we
listening.
got a little.
Yeah, they've been kind of aggressive lately. I don't know. It's just I think COVID's getting to us. We're finally just getting outside. We're all like pent up. So sorry about that. We come off as aggressive. It's really not meant to be.
It's nice to finally like be able to go out and do things and have like some normalcy. Like I could go get a drink somewhere. I could go. And actually, just a side note. Couple of your friends were out last night and I was like, where are they? Like this place looks bomb. And they were at Sickenburger. Yeah. Like, but it just looked cool. And then actually I saw a post from like Steve. Oh yeah. Like, cause they're all the same.
Yeah. Right.
And, they were like, oh, who knew social distancing can be so fun? And I'm like, that place looks like cool.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people probably
not that it's not, but the way they put it out, like, Sickenburger, cause like Sickenburger doesn't get like, a lot of action fancy. Because it's just outside, you know?
Yeah, they don't do a lot with like lighting.
Yeah, and they can't be open. But they had like the big TV and they had all these like picnic tables with like umbrellas and stuff. And I don't know, it just looked like really cool.
Yeah, it looked way different compared to when I was
If you look at it, you're
so.
like, no, that's not Second Burger. That's not in Utica. But you have to realize too, I guess, like Second Burger on a Thursday, they don't have any of that because it's everyone's just crammed in.
Just,
like
everyone goes and
alley, you know,
we're all just trying to get drinks for an hour. Yeah.
But I'd like much rather have that. It looked like really cool. So maybe we should check that out sometime.
Yeah, we'll have to check it out.
But anyway,
maybe tonight.
It's Sunday.
Oh, it is. Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
It's like you don't realize what day it is anymore.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's half the problem.
Well, that concludes episode 21.
Thanks for listening, guys. Have a great week. Stay safe out there.
Peace.